Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fit Check podcast. Oh, it's episode 7. Oh my gosh, like time has really gone. It just feels like yesterday I recorded the first episode. Now we're on episode 7. Like, crazy. This is a podcast, if you're new here, this is a podcast where we discuss fashion, culture, trends, unfiltered stories, everything. We also provide a platform for creators to come along and speak their truth about the industry, about what they do, creative, fashion, photography, anything. So if you're new here, welcome. I'm your host, Victoria, and today's going to be a very, very different episode. I think we've had a lot of guests recently, and they've been all amazing. You've all offered such a great insight, advice, and stuff like that. And today, it's just me. Today we're going to do some fun stuff just with me today. I think since the first episode, I've only done stuff like, getting to know me, getting to know what this podcast is about, but I feel like it's been a while since I've done that. So this is kind of like a reintroducing myself, like this is you guys get to know me again, but on a more personal scale. As usual, it's the fit check. So we're going to do a really quick fit check. I'm not really doing too much today, just because the weather's confusing me. The weather is confusing me. It's like 1 minute rain, 2 minutes like sun, then it gets a bit cloudy, then it rains again. So like I'm trying to dress accordingly. So that's why I'm like, okay, I'll bring a coat and I'll wear like a shirt, not like any long sleeve or jumper, because that's, it's so confusing. So today I'm wearing this nice, it's kind of a corporate top. It's a nice colour, it's kind of like a burgundy purple. And I'm wearing my cozy jeans today. I thought let me be cozy because when I was coming in today, it was raining so much. I was like, hell no, I'm not doing this today. So definitely decided to wear something quite cozy. Also, we're kind of now like finding our set. We're kind of like finalizing it. I'm trying different rooms because I think from season 2, hopefully, I'll have like a dedicated room, like a dedicated space. Because I feel like every time we release a new episode, we're in a different room each time. But we're definitely bringing ourselves to like where we're supposed to be, which is really nice. And I forgot to finish my fit check actually. I'm wearing some jewelry. I recently bought some new jewelry. And I'm trying to try new things out because I don't know if I can decide on gold jewelry or silver. I'm still kind of in the middle. I get my jewelry from Shein. I'm not made of money. So that's my fit today. This is the set. We're kind of slowly building it together. I've got our fit check logo finally on a plaque. It needs to be repainted because I painted myself, so I'm proud of me. I think before I get into today's episode, I kind of want to just say thank you, like a huge thank you from like the bottom of my heart, like huge thank you. I started this podcast on the 1st of April, which is technically 2 months ago now, and the support that I've got from this is like mind altering. And I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has helped. It has been an emotional roller coaster. I'm telling you, there's some things you haven't seen behind the scenes. There's so much that goes into this every single week, every single day. And it's so hard sometimes to stay motivated and to stay encouraged. But like everybody that has supported, even if it's just like reposting something or posting on a story, that has been so substantial. I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody that supported this podcast, supported me, supported the team through this. I just want to say a massive thank you. Shout out to Chloe, my lecturer. She's honestly been like my rock during this podcast creation. She's the one that's been helping us get podcast rooms and putting us in contact with people to help. Ian, thank you so much for giving me my induction on the podcast suite and for donating Jonathan and Lauren to help out. Who else I need to say thank you to? Thank you to all of the guests. We had Jonathan, Chino, Precious, Chloe and Emma, and Noah recently. Like, thank you guys so much for coming on. Like, I really appreciate it. It's not unnoticed at all. Putting up with the differences in equipment. Like we've had so much of a shift recently, but like I said, I'm so grateful and thankful for everyone that's come, and also for those who came to my event. I had two events that were a week apart. All those that helped, Joy, thank you for helping set up. Ruben, Adrian, you guys helped. Like everybody helped me to do this because I would have. Oh, if I was on my own, I think I would have been finished. But yeah, all the lecturers, all of the students in the fashion course who have also helped encourage, like even just saying nice words and encouragement, like that goes a long way. So I love you guys. Thank you for all of you that supported. Like I never thought that this would grow in the way that it's growing, and I'm just so appreciative. So I'm gonna try not to cry, but yeah, no, definitely love you guys. Yeah, so today is a little about me today. It's all about me today. And we're gonna go through kind of my story, why I chose fashion, what uni is like, what uni was like for me, my personal experience, and kind of finding my style. Like we're gonna just talk about it all. So I think we'll start off with why fashion. So when I was in school, what I wanted to do was I wanted to be a police officer or like a lawyer or a teacher. Those were kind of the jobs that I was like deciding between. And I didn't really know which one I really wanted to do. I'll be very real with you, just because like there's such differences in each and every one of those careers. But I always was a creative person. Like I love drawing, I love art, I love creating arts and crafts, love that sort of stuff. Loved creating things. Like I was much more of a creative than I was like an academic in that sense. I remember when I first started year 8, in my school basically did an induction into picking your options for GCSE, and I remember I was like, I really want to do fashion. And actually at first I wanted to do interior design, but then I was like, I like clothes, I like fashion. Like from when I was younger, I used to love playing dress-up games, I used to love drawing outfits, like not inherently knowing that was the journey that I would later be coming into. It wasn't until, like I said, I started like doing some I say research, but it wasn't really research. It was more just like going on Pinterest and looking at like jobs that look aesthetic and that. So I was just like, what do I want to do? And I remember I was in school and I spoke to my art teacher, because you had to talk to a teacher before you talk like a specific subjects, because they had to make sure that you picked a subject that you could A, do, B, enjoy, and C, wouldn't waste your time doing. So I remember I spoke to my art, I think it was my head of art actually, and I remember I was talking to her, I was like, I really want to do fashion, and she was like, do art, don't do, like, she was, because I was like, I really want to do textiles, and she said, no, do art, and I was like, oh, what? But the thing was, I actually couldn't take art and textiles, I had to pick one. So I was like, hey, is this the life we're living now? I can only pick one subject, which was a lie, by the way, fat, juicy lie, because you could have picked two. I remember one of my classmates took both, and I was just thinking, well, why did I listen to her? But then I'm glad I didn't listen to her, because if I had just picked textiles, the skills that I learned in art would have not, like they wouldn't have bettered me in the way that I think. Textiles is still a good subject, don't get me wrong. However, I think there's some things I learned in art, and there's some things there's an opportunity that I got in art that I wouldn't have gotten if I did textiles. For example, a lot of the things that we do I do fashion branding and communication, and that big word, communication, is what it is. You have to talk. You have to be able to present your ideas with full confidence, by the way. You can't, belittle your ideas. You have to be able to basically sell your ideas. It's like you're pitching it to people. Because if you go to work for a brand, and we do this a lot in uni, we have a lot of live projects, and you have to be able to pitch your ideas. Like you have to be able to say, this is my idea, this is why it's good, and this is why you should invest in it. And in art, we used to do this thing where we would go to the Harbour Art Gallery and basically talk in front of our classmates and other people from different schools and talk about art, talk about an artwork. So they'll give us an artwork, we all have to stand and talk about it. We have to talk about who the artist is, why this art was created, what materials it's created out of, why does that make it significant? All that holly-bolly. And it was just like, what? But then those skills were then transferred into other skills. So through doing that, I also joined the leadership team in my sixth form, and that really prepared me to learn how to talk. Oh my God, it was hard. I remember when I think I was in year 13. Was I? Yes, I was in year 13. and we were getting ready for, was it year 13 or year 12? No, it was year 12. It was year 12, end of year 12, when the year 13 had just left. So I was part of the leadership team, so they had actually told us that we needed to come and do a presentation and talk about different sectors in the sixth form. So I remember mine was something to do with mine was societies. I had to talk about why joining a society was good. I had joined / co-created a society. It was Christian Union. Love Christian Union. I think it's still going on to this day. I pray it is. But yeah, so that also, other leadership skills. When we have events, I'd have to do certain things. I made all the posters for the events we had. There was so much that goes behind the scenes that I was in charge of. And I think those are all skills that are needed. And I think, I'm not saying if I did, I don't know if I took textiles and things would be different, but through doing art and through joining leadership, I learned a lot of things. That's why people ask me, why are you so confident talking? It's because of those things. Another thing as well that gave me confidence is doing stuff in church. Guys, I used to, every time they would be like, Toria, you're going to do this in church, I'm like, I'll be looking for places to hide, because I'm like, I don't want to do that. But my biggest issue, but it's not an issue all the time, is that I sometimes don't know how to say no, but sometimes it's good to say yes, even when you don't want to say yes. Even when you want to say no, it's good to say yes. I remember one time, my pastor called me and a couple of other people said, you guys are going to do announcements. And I said, no! And part of me really wanted my pastor to forget, but he didn't forget. So I actually started doing announcements in church. And you don't understand the confidence that comes with it. You also have to, I always pray before I went to go do it. But there was one thing, through doing that, you gain experience and it helps you in every other level. So that's why it baffles me sometimes when people go to church and they don't want to do anything. That just shows to me that you want to stay in that same level. Try to get yourself involved in things to better yourself. I don't know how I got here, but I'm here now. But so back on to why I decided to do fashion. I remember I was in sixth form, and I don't know why I picked these subjects. I picked history, politics, and art, right? Because I was like, I want to do fashion, but I don't think fashion's going to pay the bills. I actually, when you grow up, you have to start thinking logistically. And my parents do quite STEM jobs. My mom's a nurse, my dad is an architect. So they've got quite, you're guaranteed to kind of get a job through those things, especially in the health sector. My mom wanted me to be a neuroscientist. I said, excuse me, neuroscientist? I'm not doing that. Mad. Me, neuroscientist. You're crazy. I didn't do anything to do with neuroscience because that's really difficult. And I decided that I wanted to do something to do with law. Do I really want to be a lawyer? No. At that time I did, because the aesthetic was high. Everyone wanted to be a lawyer. But also I thought I was good at arguing, and that's not a good reason to be a lawyer, by the way. You could be good at arguing regardless of the subject that you pick. You argue in every sector. You're gonna have to argue at least once in your life. So I remember I went to a seminar that a lecturer from Coventry University actually came to my sixth form and spoke about how to basically make it as a lawyer. And I said to myself, no, I'm not doing this. Just because it's not about being fun, it's about motivation. And you have to ask yourself, when you want to go into jobs or into a sector or into a course, am I going to enjoy this? You can't do something you're not going to enjoy. Every time I talk to my dad about what he does, he's always saying, I love architecture. He loves architecture. I'm always seeing him drawing, even when it's got nothing to do with anything. He's like, no plans, no work. He just draws because he enjoys it. He really, really, really enjoys it. My mom also enjoys her job. Even though it's hard, even though it's tiring, she still enjoys her job. She still loves the reason why she decided to do it is still the reason that keeps her going. And I had to ask myself that question. I had to say, I want to do fashion because I enjoy the creativity behind it. But for me, the reason why I was skeptical about going into fashion is because I didn't want to just do the making. So I had to look for other avenues. I kind of like the billboards and the adverts. I wanted to see how do people do that? And then I decided to do fashion brand and communication. So here I am, do fashion brand and communication. And little did I know, I would have started a podcast, and I didn't even think I would even be doing that, if I'm completely honest with you. So yeah, it's crazy. It was a crazy world. Let's talk about my first day of uni. I remember my first day of uni like it was yesterday. So I walked in. I actually had met up with somebody who's in my course. We have this like page where we all we all talk to each other, and like it was all different courses, and we were all like, especially like this one big group chat, but it wasn't like on WhatsApp or Snapchat or anything like that. And everybody was putting, I do this subject, I was doing this subject, I'm doing this subject, but nobody said the subject I was doing until one day this person put that they were doing the same courses as me. So we actually met up, got to know each other a little bit, which I think is really good, because it makes the first day less stressful because we actually met up together and went up together, which is nice. I think it's good to meet up with people in your course if you can. So if you join a group chat or a Snapchat. I joined a Snapchat group chat. I left like 3 days later because it's just everybody talking and and people were just sending each other videos that are just weird. I was like, hell, I'm a weird, so I dipped. But you could find somebody who's in your course. But everybody that was usually in it was doing business and all the STEM subjects. I was like, these people are not my people. So then moving forward, went to the day. They gave us a brief. First off, they gave us a fat tour. It was long. It was a long tour. They showed us the photography studios, the film studios, the everything. Like they showed us everything. And I think by the end of it, I really wanted to go home. Not because it was a bad tour. It was just because it was just so long. And I kept thinking, when is this tour going to end? But I'm glad they gave us a tour because I wouldn't actually be in this space if it wasn't for the tour. I didn't, like some people to this day don't know this room exists. But because of that tour, I realised, oh my gosh, this is a space I want to be in. And I come in this space, do some study, it's very quiet, and I decided to make it my podcast space. So yeah, like honestly, the tour was really good. Then they gave us a little brief, which was to do some social media stuff. It was kind of tacky, but we did it anyway. And it was fun. And then after that, we started first year. I think we didn't get any modules or any briefs until the week after. We just got like little mini briefs that were not assessed. So that was kind of fun, I won't lie. They were quite nice. They gave us a lot of team building exercises. Because you're in first year, they have to meld you together. Because honestly, I'll be very real, in every subject, but I'm specifically speaking from a creative standpoint, you cannot survive if you don't want to be friends with people. I don't even know why you would want to do that. Like fashion, photography, media, art, they're very social subjects. Like you're gonna have to talk to people, get advice, give advice, And I feel like if you want to be that person that's just silent and sits in the edge of the room, you're not gonna survive. If you want to do that, that's why you go to the STEM subjects. I mean, not all STEM subjects are like that, but with creativity, it's a networking. It's a networking family. So when people say to me, oh, I can't be bothered, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. Well, then I don't know what you want from me. I don't know what you want. You're not really gonna do well. I feel like you can survive, but barely. But you're not gonna do well. And I think learning how to socialize is so important for networking. Oh, now I feel like for me, 100% in networking is here. I'm about here. I'm not there yet, I'm here. I can still talk to people, but for me, I have a radar. I'm like, I don't think I should talk to that person, or I should go talk to that person. Discernment, like, you know what I mean? So, but I'm still getting there. It's a journey. You're never gonna get it on the bat. There used to be people that are so good at networking, but they're so bad at something else. That's just how it is. Like, I was good at public speaking, but I wasn't really good at going to people to talk to them, or I wasn't really good at leading in that sense. It took a while, and it took a lot of opportunity. You get put in these positions where you start learning how to do these things, and then it benefits you in the long run, and then you can do amazing stuff. But if you refuse those opportunities, if you say no, you're not going to grow at all. And uni is about growing. You're not spending all... Sorry, I feel like I'm lecturing now, but you're not spending all this money. You're not spending all this money just to throw it away and just not do anything and not grow. If you're going to... When you go into uni, you should come out a different person. You should come out more equipped. You should come out with more knowledge. And you should definitely come out with more confidence, because now you're ready to go tackle the corporate world or the creative world or start something of your own. And you can't do that if you constantly limit yourself, and you can't do that if you belittle your understanding, and you cannot do that if you just want to be a single Pringle. So now we're gonna go into something different. I asked you guys on Instagram to send me some questions. Some of you just ignored and swiped, but some of you listened and you typed in the questions. So thank you guys for answering those questions. So the first question we have is, what is your biggest pet peeve? Lateness. I don't like lateness, but I've learned to accept it. My biggest thing, it's not even, for me, it depends on the thing. I feel like when it comes to shoots or to uni, do what you want. But I feel like for me, my biggest pet peeve is when people, this is so unrelated, but when people are late for church, and sometimes I will be late, but it's not my fault. I promise you. It's people. I'm lying, but that's my biggest pet peeve. I think being late. But I feel like if it's 10 to 15 minutes, half an hour max, after that, you're genuinely just being rude. You're just being disrespectful at that point. But yeah, lateness is for me, I think my biggest pet peeve is for me being late. Other people, it bothers me, but it doesn't bother me too much. But for me, when I'm late, it makes me so mad and sad. I like being on time. It makes me feel like I'm ready to go. I don't like being late because I feel like, especially for uni, when you're late, sometimes rooms can change or things can happen and you're like, oh my God, now I have to panic. I love being on time. One of my other pet peeves is that people who are very relaxed when like it's a high pressure situation and they're just chilling. I'm just like, okay. That's one of my biggest pet peeves. Second question, if you could change your degree, what would it be? This is a very nice question. I think if I could change my degree, it would probably be teaching. I think I would be a great teacher just because, I'll be real, when I was growing up, especially in primary school, I didn't have great experiences with my teachers, I'll be so real. I just remember, like, for one of my biggest things I hated when I was a student is favoritism, and it's still something that exists. And you don't understand how much I hate favoritism, because most of the time their work or like what they do isn't great, and you know you're so confident in your work, you know it's good, you know it's better, but the teacher, because they're so not infatuated, that's not the right word, but they're so like, they like that student so much because that student is behaving, or that student compliments that teacher, or or like something like that, and they just don't see what they're supposed to see. They just see that child and see, oh, that child is they're just an angel. I don't like that at all. I don't like favoritism. So I think for me, because I've been through that, and I've been through like being second best all the time, because you can't compete with personality, in that sense. But yeah, I think definitely I would be a teacher. I think in terms of subject, I probably would have been an art teacher, or RE. I like RE. I would have RE teacher. I would have liked RE actually. Yeah, I wouldn't be anything else. Or apart from teaching, I'd probably be like, I honestly, this sounds so bad, but I honestly wanted to become a police officer. Me and my mom really liked watching like police dramas, so like Line of Duty, and I just don't know why, I just really, really wanted to become a police officer. I just thought that the uniform was quite cool, the cars, but yeah, it's not happening anymore. Coffee or tea? This is hard because coffee is really, really nice, but it doesn't do what I think it's supposed to do. Like, how it's supposed to give you energy or give you like, I don't think it does that. I think coffee makes me more tired. But I like tea. Chai is my favorite tea. I like hibiscus tea. Hibiscus tea is really nice. Berry tea. Yeah, I think I'm a tea girl. I like tea. I like tea. Favorite Bible verse. One of my favorite, I have loads of favorite Bible verses. One of my favorite ones, I think, my favorite Bible verse probably is Psalms 24 verse 18. Or it's the other way around. No, it's 24 verse 18. It's this is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. That for me is my highlight for every single day. That's the first verse that I usually look up to, because sometimes I have a terrible day before. have a very demotivating day before. Like, I maybe, don't like work that I do. Sometimes I go to bed thinking of work that I've done and think, that is so bad. Oh, like that's disgraceful. But sometimes you wake up and you go, you know what? This is the day the Lord has made. So regardless of the work I've done, or regardless of the conversations I've had, or regardless of the situation that's happened, I am choosing to embrace the day that God has made. Yeah, that's what it is. Especially, you know what, yeah, I always talk about my faith has been the literal, like, stone that has helped me grow in ways that are unimaginable. Like, I look at me and how I've seen the growth. I've seen the growth within me, which is really important to see, because sometimes I don't see myself grow, but I've seen myself grow. And I'm like, I wouldn't have been able to do half of that if I didn't have Jesus. Like, honestly. Yeah. If you could change your degree, I literally just answered that question. What's your most controversial food opinion? And that's a kind of difficult one. I think this is not food, this is a drink. I like green tea with milk. Oops. People are disturbing me. But yeah, my biggest controversial food opinion is I like green tea with milk. I just do. I just don't know what it is. I think the green tea with the flavour of the milk, and I think that also because green tea can be quite strong, but I think the milk calms it down a bit. No? So yeah, I like green tea with milk. Yeah. I like this question. What is the best piece of advice you have ever received? Oh, I've received so much advice over the years. And I think one of the ones that I have taken in a lot is wait, let me word this properly. Your friends are a representation of who you are, right? Your circle, let me repeat that. You decide what your circle looks like, And where does that come from? Where did that advice come from? It came from my pastor. My pastor always said, you choose your friends, you pick your friends. Don't let your friends pick you. And I never deeped it until adulthood. Because when you become an adult, I'm 20, I'm touching the surface. I'm an adult, but I'm just barely touching it. For me, I really had to say who are my friends and who are not. And there's a difference between friends and acquaintances. That is a massive thing I've learned as well. Friends, that's a deep word, Deep word is friends. Friends, acquaintances, Especially in this industry, when you're trying to grow creatively, there are people that will abuse you. It's not happened to me, but I've heard it happen to other people where they've been taken advantage of. Especially because this industry is it's like a gladiator stadium. It's deep, People can really come for you. People can really treat you like dirt under your shoe, And I think it's really, really important to highlight that you are in control of who you surround yourself with. If there are people that you're surrounding yourself with that are not on the same wavelength as you, who are not motivated as you, and are not dedicated, that's a big word, dedicated as you have to start shifting them to the side. Very slowly move them to the side. Because if you don't, bad things will happen and you have to just deal with it. This is what's song. Don't blame people for disappointing you. You blame yourself for trusting them. Trust nobody. That's what's too funny. But there's meaning to the song. You can't blame people for disappointing you when you've chosen them, and especially if you know what they've done to other people or they've done to themselves. You now know who they are as people, but you're choosing to keep them in your circle. Your circle must be a reflection of who you are. So you choose your friends. Don't let your friends pick you. I can't click, so pretend that. Oh! Wait, pause. Oh, we're back. The light turned off. I think they think that no one's in there. So, yes. Pick your friends. Don't let your friends pick you. Right. I think we'll answer a couple more questions. So we've got loads. Oh, do you believe comfort should always come before style? This is a very, very interesting question. I think because there's this whole concept of beauty is pain, and for me personally, I don't agree with that. Beauty isn't pain. Beauty is beauty. It should be, loved. It should be beautiful. It shouldn't be this thing that's causing pain and constriction. I think comfort should always come before style. I think there's days where and it's something I'm still growing into. There's certain outfits that I would wear back before I had common sense that it would be like these really tight trousers. Like I walk like those Transformers. Like I can't walk properly because I said I want to look nice. But realistically, it's not comfortable. And I feel like, especially if you go to events and stuff like that, you want to feel comfortable, you want to feel like you're in a good space. So yeah, I definitely would say comfort over style. Definitely. Don't dress uncomfortably because you want people to see you in a certain way. Don't do that. Dress how you want to dress. You know how some people, they wear, who was it? It was Kim Kardashian. She wore these heels that didn't have the heel at the back. It was just the heel. I said, hey. And she kept falling over. Do you know what I mean? There's something, sometimes I have to wonder if people have sense. Why would you, it doesn't even, for me, I don't even think it looks nice. I feel like every shoe should have a heel, okay? But she kept falling over, and it's like, I'm sorry, but you chose that. No one told you to wear those shoes. But there's this whole thing of, she's so stylish, and I'm like, you could have worn normal heels and everyone still would have thought your outfit looked great, But that's just me. Okay, next up. Ooh. What would you call this chapter of your life? I'm going to do personal and then career. So I think for me personally, this is my growth. I'm still growing. I think you will never stop growing. You will never stop growing. But this is really the year that God is molding me into the woman that He's designed me to be. I think I'm definitely learning a lot about myself. I'm learning about how I am, and also seeing things that are not necessarily good, and habits that need to change. Like my procrastination has changed a lot since, I think first year, second year, my procrastination has changed definitely. My procrastination used to be so bad in first year, but now, I'm making lists, I'm doing a routine, I'm sleeping on time now. Back then it was a bit sticky, but now I'm actually going to bed on time, waking up early. Yeah, I think professionally, it's very sticky because in first year, I don't know if I even mentioned it, but I wanted to be a creative director. That is what I technically do. I'm learning to do as well. I'm not officially a creative director, but I'm doing creative things. And that's what I want to do. But then I realized that there's so many doors have been opened for me. I think since starting this podcast, it has made me rethink my career. And I think I won't know what it is I'm doing until I probably finish uni. But I'm at a stage in my life, I'm still a young person, I'm still learning, and I'm going to make loads of mistakes. But I'm in a place where I'm willing to learn and grow and accept it. And yeah, I think that's where I'm going with life. I think creatively, I'm going to try everything. That's another thing I've done. This year, I started doing photography, proper photography, photo shoots. I'm the person behind the camera. I feel like as a creative director, you get a videographer, you get a camera, not cameraman, what's the word? Photographer. But I've now been the one that's been behind the camera. It's how did I even get here? But there's so many things I'm learning. I've been on music video shoots. Who would have thought? I've been on short film shoots. Who would have thought? I've done photo shoots. Who would have actually thought? So I'm doing different things. I'm even doing more social media now. I'm just testing the waters, and then I think by the end of my degree, I will finally think, after doing all of this, I think I will finally know which river I will swim in. So I'm testing all the rivers, and then I'll see, preferably a very famous river. But yeah, that's where I am right now in terms of that. I think for the last one, what is your proudest accomplishment? I think my proudest accomplishment has to be this podcast in terms of, uni and just in terms of life, I think this is one of my proudest accomplishments because I genuinely started it from nothing. And, you know, there were days where I just wanted to give up. Oh, there were days where I just said, I can't lie, Chloe, I'm done. Like, there were so many days I just wanted to quit. You know, but everything that I've done is now, it's worth it now. Because there were days, oh guys, one day I will do a video on just how all the pain and stress I went through. Like, there were days I would go to bed at 6 a.m. because I'm editing, you know, and there were days where I was editing on software that was like the easiest to use because my laptop broke and there were days I'll be in uni till 10 p.m. when the building closes just so I could finish an edit. You know, sometimes I'll be looking at work and thinking, this is so bad, and the edit's so bad, and the audio's so bad, but you just have to keep pushing through. And I also had to give myself a lot of grace. You know, I was able to do 2 events, record and edit every single podcast episode that you've seen. Then some of them are great, some of them are terrible. Like, I'll be so real. But I'm getting there, and I'm giving myself grace because I'm not a professional. I'm not professional, and I'm also still in uni. I'm still a young little baby, you know what I mean? So I'm still learning. And I think I had to give myself a lot of grace throughout that process. And I think starting this podcast has been one of my, I've had loads of achievements, of course, but that was top for me in terms of my achievements. And yes, what I'm most proud of. And I don't believe that will be the last. I think, you know, by God's grace, I'll be doing all sorts of things. And I can't wait to see how far this podcast goes. I can't wait to see how far I go. By God's grace. It's been a great one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I'm so appreciative. I think I'll start doing more podcasts on my own. No, I'm joking. I'll do podcasts with guests as well. I know you guys are loving the guests. I'm loving learning from the guests. I'm loving hearing their story and how they started everything. And please do follow us on all of our social media platforms. Also follow me on Instagram as well if you want to see any of my bits and bobs. I also do a couple of stuff as well. Also follow us on TikTok. We are almost hitting 100 followers on TikTok. Please just give us a follow. Please, I'm begging you. Follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram, and love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye. See you later.